Good evening, Wizards, and welcome to episode 20 of Wizard Wednesdays. Now, this is going to be a nice fluid continuation of yesterday's analysis video, so we do not need to elaborate too much actually in depth in terms of the BTC and XRP analysis, as it was covered in the analysis video posted at around 1 a.m. yesterday in the morning. So technically today in the morning, but yeah, I consider that yesterday as I did go to bed straight after that. It's currently around 3:30 p.m. here in the UK and in London, so we are having a nice smooth transition over to the BTC and XRP pairs, and also going over this time the CoinMarketCap analysis as well. So just to kickstart with CoinMarketCap, what we are looking at here right now is a nice significant drop on the BTC dominance. This is the first thing that's really caught my eye logging onto CoinMarketCap today, and that would actually be the dominance dropping from around 65.5%, and I believe at the peak it was around 65.7. Yeah, so around 65.7, 65.8 is where we were approximately around 6 days ago now. So in just less than a week, we have managed to see that dominance drop by over 1%, which is a very good sign, a very, very good sign indeed, because we're starting to see a bit more of a separate and diverse inverse correlation movement across the likes of BTC and the altcoins, which we can see as of now is a very clear sign. BTC down almost 2%, whereas the likes of XRP, Ether, and even Litecoin exceeding 2% are all in the green today, and even EOS is seeing a pretty solid day. I believe Tron has made a little recovery after that 20% drop everyone was talking about, following yet again another shambles from Justin's son. And not to really go into that in too much depth, but again guys, it is just kind of bringing forward my point even more. Tron is not a project I am willing to trust. I do not care how their partnerships work. It simply is down to the fact that Justin Sun's business mindset and the actual way he interprets and handles business, publicity, marketing, campaigns, it's not really my cup of tea, and it's not something I would consider investing in, because I do not think it's morally correct how he actually goes about many of his actions. And you can very easily see and read between the lines. If you're a little bit conscious, you can see that these are clear pump and dump attempts that he tries to do. So again, just throwing that out there, why I even mentioned it the other day on Twitter as well. But looking at this overall, the BTC dominance now dropping, and again the main focus being XRP, you can see right now from a weekly perspective, as I did do in the prior video, again keeping this analysis very clean and simple from now on, not too much going on, and we are going to be working between similar ranges, because the Wizard platform, as we are working towards this launch and we are doing the beta testing and fixing all these bugs, it's time to start converting your charts to either match mine to give you a head start when it actually comes to the platform education. When you actually break down the charts and start going through them within the course itself, you'll very quickly realize that they are very simplistic and very basic and stripped down to their rawest form. So on a wick to wick perspective, we were initially using this trend line here, which for the sake of visibility I will just make blue or purple. Let's make it purple, that makes more sense. This was the first trend line we had, which is still working miraculously well and absolutely perfect, to be honest with you. We had the tap, we had the spike below, and then we had the second tap, now looking to pull higher. It's currently Wednesday, and judging from how this has reacted before, it's either going to be an instant rocket ship towards 38 cents or even the 36 cents region here, or we're going to be seeing a few weeks, whether that's 2 to 3 weeks of consolidation, before absolutely exploding towards the upside. So as of now, it's time to be a bit patient. I am still a bit cautious of this region down here in any form of flash crash movement, but overall, keeping it very simple. This trend line, now that we saw the spike below, has yet again extended the XRP trend line much further away from where the old price action once was. If you actually remember back in the day, the trend line used to be around here. Used to be this trend line here, then we broke through, rejected twice, broke through, and just to make this a bit more perfect, it was actually around there, because you can see from the retest there as well. So where we were once on a trend line that was this steep has now slowly lowered its incline to match the current price action around here. So all I've done from that was use the wick here and almost confluencing with that wick. So all we're doing is progressively moving it lower. Where we were once aligned with this wick from wick to wick, which was absolutely perfect, upon breaking and failing to hold this region, we've slowly extended this down to match the new wicks. So we progressed that down from there. From these wicks, now we've moved them down to these wicks, and as you can see, that's currently holding very well, with this extension down here just there in case we actually do see that little push higher. So overall, history has always repeated itself with XRP. it's been almost 2 years now and we have failed to actually break above this exact level, so actually break below the 28 cents region. We've dipped below, but the candle closures have never really exceeded this level too much. You've seen that one move there, and if you really wanted to be a bit more safe, you can drag that down to there, but the majority of this wick accumulation is around the 28 cents region. As you can see, every time price hits this level, you at least see a movement towards 36 cents or higher, and I do believe this will yet again shift us towards a bit of consolidation and another attempt to actually break 46 cents and beyond. So going to a daily perspective right now, what is going on? It's going exactly as we anticipated. I mean, literally to the absolute T. The exact call was around 0.34 to be met, which we did fall a little bit lower from to hit around 33. But overall, you can see we are almost perfectly aligned with this target. Alongside that, yesterday, I drew a Fibonacci retracement as well to fulfill this movement. When price was up here, I said do not FOMO in. When price was even here, I said do not FOMO in. And I said that in yesterday's video, which if I was watching myself a minute ago. Analyze charts. If we go over to the Absolute Perfection video, let's have a little look. I believe it was around, let's find XRP very quickly. I believe it was around here. If not, we'll just go for it anyway. So looking at that level there, we'll try and find the fib. Just showing the ranges as well, very important levels to take into consideration, because these ranges are literally a gospel, and it can keep your trading very clean and simplistic by simply just focusing on those. And if we go over to the Telegram, XRP USD playing out to perfection as well right now. As the video covered, hold back from jumping the gun until the 30-40 region was met, and it was. And now we've seen the confluence, we've got the 61.8. It's really painting a nice picture of what XRP could be doing next. So not only have we fulfilled the 61.8% retracement level, we've also fulfilled the 30-40 region I covered, and we've fulfilled another trendline retest. So we've broken below, pulled up higher, rejected, broken out, showing there could be a potential rise to come. We've retraced, corrected. Always be aware of these regions down here, and we're looking like the next upside targets, which align very nicely with prior price action, are well in line to be continued. And as you can see, crucial level of support here, which has been broken and has not yet been retested. So I do see a little movement up to even 38 cents becoming very possible soon. Let's just reduce the opacity on that. So even looking at this region here, we have a nice retest of broken ground that needs to be confirmed before we can actually see another potential pullback and continuation higher. So first I want to see how this level holds up, which should be the first real target. Anywhere profit taking wise, just use these as your guidelines. Very simple stuff on this trade, very clean and simple setup. And I mean, look at that precision on the 61.8, and the trend line held 1, 2, 3, and this is the key point I wanted to throw in as well. If you have missed the gun on this entry, then do not fear. This could be a very good trade setup for you, as on the 4 hour, we have an hour and 24 minutes left. We've broken through this trend line. Again, beautifully clean stuff. We've seen this many times over. Even if you want to go from there, I think it was from there to there, from the wick, we fell just short. Obviously you can fix this up in any way you like, but you saw the breakout, you saw the pullback lower, basically taps the trend line and taps the second trend line, and price absolutely rocketed. So now what you're seeing again is very similar movements over here. And as you can see, guys, this is simple price action. There's no complication to this. If I go back to the daily perspective, all you can see is 3 key levels, 2 trend lines, which even realistically I could just get rid of that for the time being. You have 2 trend lines there, but then if I leave it there, at least you're prepared for any form of manipulation. As ugly as it may look, it does actually help out quite well. So you've got around 23 minutes for this candle to close as well. Even if you were to consider this from the wick to wick, it is technically broken right now. From no matter what wick you do, even it's from the top wick there, it's been broken. So do expect a breakout of some sorts, but ideally, if you did miss the gun here, then wait for a pullback to some extent. Hopefully we can see a retest around the 31 cents region or dipping even lower. As long as you see that trend line retest, we can start anticipating longs. So again, if you took the call from where I said, it would have been absolutely precise. Literally zero drawdown, just a little bit of a movement there. Let's just say from around 30-40 where it was given, targeting towards that region up there. Very tight stop loss on this one, wouldn't have needed too much. Even if it was below there, you would have had a very good risk to reward from the prior wick. However, it would have probably been good to put it just below the wicks here and the 78.6 fib. Looking at that over there, you're making almost 5 to 1, so almost 5 times your initial, pretty much 5 times on the dot. If you drag it a bit higher, you are looking at 5 times your actual risk amount in a potential profitable return. So very simple stuff. And this is why I do not need to always provide these setups here, because I give you these levels. Once they're tapped, you execute, and price just works beautifully in your favor. Obviously, this will not happen every single time, but as you can see right now, it is really working out well. So use this as a nice little theory. Should you see that explosion to around 37 cents, then my goodness, it'll be absolutely insane to see come through. So paying attention to this now as well. BTC. Everyone's asking, well, if you do think BTC could still even hit $6,000 at some point, what would happen to XRP? And to be honest with you, I only think XRP, if that was to happen, would in the worst case scenario start hitting around 24 cents for the short term. Obviously, all of this is a major concern for everyone. It's a big region that's been unfulfilled. But looking at where prior wick action has commenced from even the spikes lower, we've never really breached a danger zone of around 24.5 cents to around 25.5 cents. So that is a real final threatening zone if we break through. But obviously the real concern in that matter, if that was to happen, is the break of this trend line, which has never really been done before on a very strong scale. So it's been holding up very well, and historically anyway, it's always repeated itself. Huge explosion, huge explosion, huge explosion. Like, we do not realize that jumping from 28 cents up to 37 cents is still phenomenal. The Fibonacci's aligned so well as well right now. 37, 38 cents, blown through to even 50 cents from these regions. And even once, we went all the way up to around 80 cents, all the way from this single movement here. Phenomenal stuff to see. And forgot what caused this again, or something that caused this, but yeah, I remember being involved in that moment. I think I gave this call out as well publicly. A lot of money was made on this call. I remember posting around 14k profits. People were showing me some crazy numbers, but even BTC as a good example, starting off from a weekly perspective, the 61.8 that we've rejected, this move alone, if you've seen on Twitter, on my personal Instagram, or even the CryptoWZRD Instagram, you would have seen that we've literally had around 3 people alone have made 20k collectively. So I can only imagine how much all of you together have made on this single call, just from a simple $1,000 movement from around 10.8 down to around 9.6. So just breached that $1,000 movement mark yet again. So another phenomenal call on this, and just look at the validity of that 61.8 level on the weekly. So the biggest concern right now is with the strength of this pullback, is it enough to sustain us from actually returning to the $16,500 region ever again? And obviously, in terms of ever again, absolutely not. That can most definitely be met very soon. And if that does not happen by the end of the year, then early 2020, we should be well on our way to seeing some movement. But biggest concern for me right now, just doing this yet again, just showing you if this level that has now been confirmed and looking at the alignments of these retracement levels, I am still open to, first of all, 7,250 give or take. We're first looking at $8,400 to $8,000, which is just there. But very simple stuff. With this huge retracement and this huge pullback now confirmed, this is a real official pullback now. So this Fibonacci level can actually be valid. We're pretty far away from this level. This was once $14,000. We're over $4,000 down from this region. So looking at where this is and where it aligns with this level, if we actually see a strong candle closure below, this is the last ever higher low we've seen that actually held some validity during the entirety of this 2019 run-up. So breaking this level here would be a very simple pullback, and I do believe that would take us straight to $6,000 down to $5,500, which would be one hell of a call to make. I was calling it from here. We've had some miscalculations, but I do believe even from here onwards it was a possibility, and now it's gone higher, it's even more of a possibility to occur. Not to mention, just as you've seen many times over with steep inclines like this, as I did show many of you, this is essentially what you're seeing here. This is a miniature version of this. And now we could be seeing that same descent again for the remainder of the year. As I said, 2020 onwards, by October, November, we could be back down in the $6,000 region, fulfilling these Fibonacci targets around this region. And then by early 2020, we are bolstering on our way to new all-time highs. So this is still massively on my radar. Of course, the only thing that hasn't really confirmed yet is when we broke out of this level, we've only just properly retested it now, but there is a lot of support located down below, and I do believe as long as this wick here gets broken, this is a key region for me around $9,000, that would then gear up the move to $8,000 to $7,000 and inevitably peaking at the 6k range. So again, the cruciality of this 6k range is purely because the inverse head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. This would confirm a breakout, a pullback to the upside. We retest this level around where the 78.6 Fibonacci is located, and then from there you are looking at the bull run continuation to break all-time highs. This is what we would need: an all-time high break, a pullback, a retest, and then we start blowing towards the likes of $26,000 to $30,000. This is all a big possibility, but again, it comes down to being humble, it comes down to patience and letting the market unfold. How many of you probably saved a lot of money from not buying over here? It could have been hard, and this is what I covered in yesterday's video. During these moments, it looks horrifically unbelievable. You cannot comprehend how price would ever pull back again, because all you're seeing is green. Your greed is telling you to just jump on board now, just take the risk. It's surely going to go up a bit, like a bit higher. Why wouldn't it? It's already done this much at the year. The fact of the matter is, when price starts reaching these unbelievable levels, from December and January, we went from $3,000 up to $14,000. That is literally 400%, even more. 3, 6, 9, 8, 12. Okay, yeah, that's quite a lot of return, ROI, for a single year. Not even a single year. We've barely even breached half a year. We've literally just exceeded that mark, and you're seeing huge percentage returns like that. So taking that into consideration, guys, gratitude was always having to be expressed, and there was a reason why I started taking profits here and showed you why I was taking profits and how I even bought the McLaren. I showed you literally how I took profits off, bought BTC at a certain point in time before the bull run as well, and then took the profits off and bought the car. And that's pretty much how it all unfolded, thanks to this bull run and thanks to actually taking profits. The biggest problem is people do not take profits when necessary, and it severely impacted many people that were listening to others who, it just shows for me a lack of professionalism and a lack of actual understanding of market dynamics. It's like being up here, people, when they told you 100k next. I don't know, for me it just doesn't show professionalism and an actual experience or knowledge of the markets. These markets are very volatile, highly volatile assets, and what goes up must come down, what goes down must come up. So you have to look at it this way: the space is not dead, the space is thriving. It's still in its infancy. Technically, it still is in the infancy stage because there is not as much adoption as we initially expected. The market cap is still significantly low. We're back below the 300 billion mark again for the market cap. So yeah, we are still in a very infant space where we were almost exceeding very, very big numbers back in 2017. And well, people were projecting almost 2 trillion in market cap in 2017. So to see how things are now, it's pretty incredible to realize you are still in an infant space that can do all of this with such a small market cap still. So just think about what prices could actually be when there is a genuine market cap of 2 trillion, 3 trillion, 4 trillion, 5 trillion, whatever that may be. It's absolutely phenomenal to think. But then the same general rule of thumb with any form of trend line, guys, the steeper the trend line, the sharper the fall. Trend line break. If you want to go from trend to trend, I think there was one on an actual intraday perspective. It tapped up, retested and fell. But overall, can you see what I mean here? Where this trend line here, you cannot even draw a trend line, it's that steep. It's actually ridiculous how much it rose. And the same is pretty much being said for this. You're looking at this from this level here. We are basically breaking that trend line right now as we speak. So looking at how history repeats itself, you see a break below, we may retest the likes of 10,000, which is what I said. I am expecting, even upon a breakout, to potentially see 10,000 broken and retested again, and then we can see that continuation lower. So for now, there is not much of a focus on further upside for me. So we just remained within these boundaries. I would also pay special attention to, again, take this all into consideration, and I'll just clear this up for 1 second. Make sure you've copied my levels as well, because again, the validity, the amount of hours it took to just get these levels perfected and understood, it's been a pretty tough ride. But Fibonacci intraday analysis as well, very simple stuff. 61.8 around $9,900 to $10,000, and up to $10,100 you've got the Fibonacci targets aligning precisely with the broken level. We saw the breakout from 10.3, which I said if broken would take us lower. We've then seen the breakout from 10k, rejected, fallen lower. Now you see another fall, you've got another little channel forming here. So again, just be cautious of this. You could be seeing a trend line pull back up to here. As long as we do not break and remain constricted between here, it should all be good. And judging from how this trend line has not yet seen an official third wick to wick bounce, it has seen a cheating bounce. If you want to go from body to body, but extending this outwards here, you could be seeing that trend line met, which will then take us towards $9,200, where the prior low was, which hopefully could then be broken, retested again around 9.2, and slowly trickle us lower towards this level. And again, just using this zone here, this is the last real higher low you can see here, which I marked out in yesterday's video as well. Once we land within this region, so hopefully we can hit 8,400, which was once going to be the final target, but now as we begin dipping lower, this may very well become a reality. So just stay focused on this. Short positions, if they were active from around 10.8, obviously stop losses would even be down here by now, or down here, to be honest with you. I'd have them just below or around 10,300. You've captured a huge move of over $1,000, and I also would have taken some profits off the table by now. Even I'd say anywhere from 20 to 50% profit should be taken to let the rest ride. You could even take off 70%. You've captured a huge move. There's no point being greedy. Just be grateful and take those profits. Again, someone showed 15k in profits. I would have taken off at least 7 by now, 7 to 8, and just been very grateful for achieving such a huge move in the market. So judging from that as well, if I was to just duplicate this and see if there is a valid channel forming, and yeah, there pretty much is. You're inside another channel yet again, which is what we broke out from last time. So right now BTC is moving in a fashion where it's following channels, and if you follow that channel and abide by the channel's principles, you're in a pretty good way to capture the moves in the market. So let's draw that down to there, extend that out to there, and look at what happens. It breaks out, retests, and flies higher towards that zone as well. So there is a lot of stuff going on. Obviously the trend lines can be altered in many different ways. This is stuff I'll be covering in the course in a lot more depth, obviously, because this is a bit complex right now, but overall you can see that there is a lot of stuff going on in this market, and it's making pretty good sense. Going over to a 1 hour perspective, nice and clean. Simple channel in play. Test this region, potential short opportunities, and then bang, down we go. And I do believe it would exceed expectations once actually at that level as well. So as long as we do not break below this level, then this could even be a final region to hit before flying higher. But we've shocked many people now with what is actually occurring. And if I clear this up for 1 second and I do this, I think, if I'm correct, this is the actual trend line retest, or is it not? No, it's not. So we've broken below that level. We have rejected this level once again, as you can see, making this a bit more precise. We have officially broken through, and we are now rejecting again. So if this does actually end up holding alongside where we've seen these levels hold up, then it creates a huge amount of confluences. So obviously we've covered a lot of downside. The only real threat I would really linger for any upside is if we start breaking above 10,300 again. But you've already caught such a Goliath move off this. Just be cautious, because obviously there is a long-term fib over here as well from there to there, which could push price all the way back up to this head and shoulders region again, which we perfectly caught. This one's been invalidated, so I do believe, I just want to see 9,200 broken really, and ignoring this movement over here. If we start seeing, let's just say, this level broken, break, retest, bang, straight down to $6,000. So it's becoming a reality. I'm very excited to see this all unfolding, and we have done what, well, we've actually called and predicted and all agreed in unity what 99% of the market failed to actually believe. So it's happened, it's all coming through. And again, just let me know what you think of the analysis. Let me know what you think of the calls we've had. And if you actually look back, this is one thing I always want to state as well. For every losing call we have, even if we have had the rare occasion where it's been 2 in a row, or I think once we had 3 in a row as well, when you actually look back over the year, the entirety of 2019 so far, and when this first started up in February, CryptoWZRD first started in February 2019. And if you look at the amount of correct calls to this present date, when you actually take into consideration the losses, there is an overall win rate of over 95% from the entirety of the calls given. So always focus on the majority of these moves, because what may be one bad call that may have gone a little bit wrong, it's these huge movements on BTC we're capturing that completely outweigh any losses we've had. And we haven't had one for a little while now. Everything's been working out pretty good. We had the head and shoulders work out. I think it was the trade before that where it didn't work out too well, but in a nutshell, this is how you should always have your perspective base. And if you're following the principles, here's a great example as well, by the way. if you look at this, so just read this for a second. I've been following you for a while now, but only started following your calls this week, and you're definitely the GOAT. Again, thank you very much. This was yesterday before it pulled back, hitting my stop loss, leaving me in some profits. Currently still in the trade as I re-entered around the 1110 level. Crucial information here, guys. Before it pulled back, hitting my stop loss, leaving me in some profits. This is exactly what I've been trying to preempt and program in your brains. His stop loss is in break even. I mean, it's in profit now again. He's put it just below a crucial region, 10,300, exactly what I said. If price starts baking towards that region, it's looking to go long anyway. So you may as well take some profits. If I was him, I would have taken some profits right now around this region, wait for a pullback, and if it hits, you've secured the trade anyway. If he did enter there around the 1-1 region, as he said over there, let's have a little look again. As I entered around the 110 level. So looking at where he probably would have entered even over here as well, if he had another position, he has entered, it's gone straight into profit, stop loss would have gone straight down, and you've easily made more money off a single move like that. But the goal here is to remember the stop loss is not the enemy. When you are following my trading strategies and my trading plans, you could have 4 or 5 trades in a row, risking 1 to 2%, and you will never actually truly lose that 1 to 2%, because very rarely do our trades ever actually hit the stop loss straight from the trade. Only in rare circumstances do we ever have a trade that actually goes legitimately against us. Only in those very rare circumstances do we see that. However, what will normally happen in the majority of situations, as you've seen, the way I've been, to be honest with you guys, the actual secret to these calls getting a lot more improved and more refined over time, I'm just using the Wizard platform. I'm obviously the only person that really has access to it, and it's still in the beta phase, but I'm using whatever's on there for now to see if it will actually benefit my own trading. As I said in the Q&A, watching it trickle down to my own calls and then watching you guys make, let's just say 20k between 3 people, it shows me whatever we have been developing, the Wizard team, it shows me it's going to revolutionize trading because it's working so well. So a good example of where a trade would go against us and it hit a stop loss is an example like this. Let's just say we've caught along up to here and price then goes up to here. All I would do in this situation once, let's just say we've only seen this much of the price action so far. All I would do in that situation, once it's gone up to there, is move my stop loss to around here. So when it spikes through and hits me in a loss, I've been closed out in profit, I've lost absolutely nothing from the trade, it's gone straight in between another liquidity and entry area, and then all you would do is enter back down where it's pulled back. You've now closed out in profit from the initial move, it's confirmed it's broken higher, it's pulled back, you've now refined your entry to an even better entry, and you enter again, and now you would have doubled your movement. So during these situations, sometimes your stop loss can literally get hit like 3-4 times at break even or in a little bit of profit. But as long as you keep entering, as long as the analysis stays the same, the breakout will then bring you a good amount of profit. And if you look at this now, this could very easily just tap this level as it's doing and continue lower without actually fulfilling that movement. So just to show you this as well, nice little crucial region here, as it's been doing almost every single time. Refine that a little bit. This was our key level, we've broken below, just as we've done here, broke, retested, bang, broke, retested, hopefully fall lower. Alongside this, on a 30-minute and 1-hour perspective, I do not normally like doing this too much. You've got a counter trend forming as well, and I'll just cheat that a little bit, refine it on the 30-minute chart. Let's leave that there. You can obviously leave it there if you really wish as well, but overall, you are seeing a counter trend form. Break below, potentially retest around this region, and bang, we fall lower to 9,200. So again, guys, let me know your feedback. Let me know if you prefer this much more cleaner and simplistic chart layout. It really stops all the confusion, just having 2 to 3 horizontal lines and a few intraday lines thrown in as well. And again, more importantly, just make sure you are mirroring my charts, because I'm really just fine-tuning absolutely everything right now and working it all down to its absolute core. So that's all going well. XRP has now officially broken. All you'll be doing in this instance is awaiting a pullback. Now that we've seen the real trend line broken, I can drag this down from body to body, expecting a pullback to around 31 cents or even lower, and then we could be seeing a continuation from there onwards. And if you look at BTC right now, it's fulfilling the same movement as well. So just be cautious of XRP, but BTC is looking pretty damn good right now. And on that note, guys, have a good Wednesday. Hope you're all having a very profitable week so far. Guys, take those profits, go and spend some, go and enjoy your week. I'm about to go out now and enjoy my week as well and treat myself because it's been a good day. I'm going to go for a little drive and maybe go and grab a drink and some food and just take a step back and let the charts unfold and paint a bigger picture. We're here for the longer term goal. Everything's working out to plan. The Wizards are eating well. Let's have a good week ahead. Guys, see you in the Telegram very shortly.